Good afternoon, everyone. It's so great to be able to convene in the virtual space today. My name is Nicole M. Young, and I am coming to you from my makeshift office. I live in Windsor, Connecticut. I am a poet, playwright, pop culture critic, and philanthropy professional that works in Western Massachusetts, and I live in Northern Connecticut. It's so nice to be able to live kind of separate lives, exist in different spaces in different ways. And I am coming to you from multiple virtual locations. I am here via my YouTube channel, my own Facebook page, and the Play Incubation Collective's Facebook page as well, to talk a little bit about my work and the play Eden's Crossing, which for those who will be attending the July Salon, which is scheduled for Monday, July 19th at 7:30, it will be virtual, and I will have some information on registration towards the end. You will hear about a 3 to 5 minute excerpt from that play. So, because we're coming from multiple platforms, I want to do a little bit of an introduction for those from the Play Incubation Collective who are first learning about me, and then those from my community who are first hearing about Play Incubation Collective. So first, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Play Incubation Collective, which is based in Western Massachusetts, but it supports artists from all over the country, at least from the most recent events I've attended. I was introduced to the group from playwright, dramaturg, and director Talia Kingston, who is based in Western Mass and works for Wham Theater. She had a play workshopped and supported by the Playwright Incubation Collective a couple of years ago, and she told me about this initiative a while ago and was like, we need to find a way to get you in. I was able to attend a recent reading a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to have some work supported and honed and fostered from the collective. And for those from the collective who aren't familiar with me, I have been in the Western Mass, Northern Connecticut region, New England per se, for almost 14 years. I moved here right out of my MFA in theater management from Wayne State in Detroit. I graduated in May, moved out here in August for a job, and I've never left. I came to the area as a theater artist. I first worked for a theater company in the area. I have my bachelor's degree in theater from the University of Michigan. I have my Master of Fine Arts in theater management from Wayne State University, which is also in Detroit, and I have my MA in English from UMass Amherst. I have an expansive amount of experience in theater, including producing, stage managing, directing, marketing, all of those things, and playwriting, which is a fairly new skill acquisition that I have within the theater realm. I first came to the area to work in theater. I did a lot of theater and arts management. And when I first came to the area, I was introduced to numerous ways of finding my own community in the area. I moved here in my late 20s, didn't know anyone here. I came here with 2 suitcases and a backpack and a computer, and I was introduced to many different writing communities as a way to meet people. And one of the writing initiatives I was introduced to was playwriting through the Word Festival, which is a part of the 5 Colleges Multicultural Theater Committee. And this was at a time when I was a student and staff at UMass, and my first play was first supported by Dr. Priscilla Page, who I want to say a big hello to. There's a lot of people connected via UMass because Talia is an alum as well. And from there, my playwriting career kind of blossomed. I wrote a short which received the James Baldwin Memorial Playwriting Award through the Word Festival. And that play, it's about 15 minutes longer, so with 4 characters, that has been produced via the reading at Smith College, via the Word Festival. Then there was a Fringe Festival that I was a part of in New York City in like 2011. And then it was produced in my hometown as a part of the Box Fest. I took a huge hiatus from playwriting because poetry found its way to me as well. I began writing plays as a way, no, I'm sorry, poetry. I like with plays via the communities that I was a part of to get to know people in the area. Um, Poetry became a very dominant form of creating for many, many years. I have a self-produced spoken word album. I published an anthology with other writers in the area, and I perform my poetry at different events. I've opened for musicians. I've done different festivals and things like that, and what have you. And so to now have an opportunity to finally work on playwriting is huge for me because even though my foundations are in theater, I rarely get a chance to work on my own writing. And so it's just I'm so grateful to the Play Incubation Collective community for their patience in terms of me getting this play off the ground and also working specifically with them to help nurture it. So, my other writing. So I'm also in the process of writing a memoir based on dating. There's so much that has happened to me in terms of dating. Like I use every single platform of writing that I do to explore the many ways I've changed and shifted and found myself through dating. A lot of dating things and culture shows up in both my plays and also my poetry. And I also do pop culture criticism. I'm a huge fan of film and food. So if you follow me on social media, you'll see a lot of the through lines there in terms of that work. So my plays, this is what we're here to talk about. Um, my first play, get this, which is the 15-minute short that was supported through the Word Festival in 2009 and awarded a James Baldwin Memorial Playwriting Award. That play, it's satire, there's guns, there's people getting like tied up, there's a play on 1970s blaxploitation in terms of language. And there's a lot about race relations in that work. It's about 15 minutes long. If you want to read it, please be in contact with me. I'll share my contact information afterwards. If you would love to produce it, please also be in contact with me as well. It's been actually almost a decade since it's had legs. The last time it was produced was around like 2011. So it'll be great to see the work again on stage. But there's a lot of monologues in that work that's paying homage to my work in poetry. And what inspired that particular piece was needing a platform to respond to a lot of the negativity that I've experienced in terms of dating. For those who are not that familiar with my work, and this is also, I think, something that a lot of writers do. So those who decide to date writers, please be careful. We do sometimes use our writing to kind of work out our personal lives, but don't want to give too much about that play away because I hope that people will get an opportunity to be exposed to it. But that work explores a lot about interracial dating, a lot about identity, and a lot about what people want. Again, it's a satire. I hope people laugh when they read it and hear it and see it, which, by the way, I want to mention when that play was first produced in my hometown, because oddly enough, even though I've been an artist all of my life since I was like 6 or so, that play was the first time people really, and I got that produced in Detroit in my late 20s, early 30s, I think, was the first time people really got to experience my work as a creative. I had a panic attack 15 minutes before my show went on. It was a part of the Box Fest, which is kind of like a Fringe festival where they feature individual plays that have their own separate director, playwright, actors and such. And the play that was on right before mine, I had a panic attack in the audience, and I was sitting next to a really good friend of mine, fellow collaborator, theater artist, Sharon Heath, who is based in Detroit. I hope to get a chance to work with her again. She's an amazing actor and director. She was holding my hand, keeping me from sweating. She's like, Nicole, stick it out. I almost ran out, went to the bathroom, and I was like, I am so nervous because of just all the things that come up in the play, but also too, as an artist, we are to, I think, out of all the industries that I've worked with, we are told that we are the ones to receive the most, have to receive the most feedback and really take that feedback to heart and find a way to put it within our work and consider everything that people are saying. So I feel that way now preparing for next week's salon, even though it's only going to be a 3 to 5 minute excerpt. I'm like, what are people going to say about my work? Is it going to be received well? Are people going to say, oh my God, you suck, you should not be doing this? So one thing that I want to put out there in terms of writing in general, I think for all genres, I feel like we are very brave because we are putting ourselves out there in a way that I feel like not a lot of genres do, or not a lot of industries do, or just a lot of things in life. So this goes into what the format of the play Incubation Collective does and why I'm so excited to work with them in particular. It is a forum to offer the feedback that the writer needs to incorporate into their work. So we've invited a couple of local artists who I've worked with in the past to be in the Zoom room next week to offer me feedback on the work. So Eden's Crossing. What is Eden's Crossing? The title, which this play I have been working on since 2013. It is my very first full-length work. Prior to that, and in between this and working on Get This, I've written a series of monologues. My apologies, my dogs are about to start barking because they need to protect the castle. They heard someone come by the house. So you may hear them in the background. That I've always wanted to write a full-length play. There's just something about exploring dialogue and character development within that forum. And even though I have written a short play in like less than 20 minutes or so, and those plays are like easier to get produced in terms of Fringe festivals and competitions and all of that. It's just something beautiful about exploring the full length. And this is why it's taken me so long to write it. I am now working on, I think, draft number 3. So the version that the scene that people will hear on Monday will be version 3 of this work. I've only had one other person read this play, and her name is Adamumi Okay. She is a dramaturg based in the South. She's also a UMass alum. I'm loving all of these connections. And she's also read a lot of my other work. And I hope those who come to the salon next week are ready to give me feedback, because I am my goal with this piece is to get it on its feet and have an official full stage reading at the end of the year. Last year, and my apologies, I forgot the name of the show, dear friend of mine, Sarah Wilder, who is based in Detroit, she hosted a staged reading via the interwebs last year of this piece. There was like maybe a 20-minute excerpt that they did, and I got some really good feedback. And I really want a full stage reading of this work by the end of the year. And so feedback that people can give would be awesome. So Eden's Crossing, the title came to me before anything else. I've always wanted to explore something where two people who may or may not, I'm going to leave that out there, may or may not have anything in common, know one another, are plopped somewhere out of nowhere. One of the genres that I love playing with absurdist theater, where there's things happen in real time, but in terms of space, reality, setting, all of that is thrown out the window, because I love focusing on people and the relationships that they can develop with each other and the dialogue and the beauty that can happen within one another. So one thing to think about when you come and experience my work, it's not in a real setting. It's not, throw away anything about naturalism and realism. Just be in the moment and really hear the language that people and the conversations people are sharing and what they are exploring and learning about themselves. So that's one of the reasons why Eden's Crossing came to mind. The whole notion of the Garden of Eden, and you have these two people who are plopped there and using their own interactions with one another to learn about themselves. So the play features two characters, Black male, Black female, mid to late 30s. They have been held hostage at this point for 5 days. This is day 5. And they have gone through all of these interesting stages of grief in terms of being locked up. And now they're at this point of wanting to find their way out, wanting to get out. And so we are watching, we are witnessing, we are bearing witness, because that's the other thing I like my work to do. We are bearing witness on the moment of them trying to figure out how to get out and put their little plot together. And oh, my friend Rachel just showed up. Thank you so much. Rachel has been a huge supporter of my work, including contributing towards my album. So thank you, Rachel, for being here. And one of the things that I said in the play directions at the beginning is I really do not want, prim, proper, pretty. If you really think about it, they've been in there 5 days. They haven't showered. They may or may not have eaten, probably hasn't slept. So you're going to get people who are a hot mess and who are just determined to get out. And what I wanted to explore with this particular work is finding oneself, which a lot of my poetry does a lot on identity development and understanding the pieces of how you understand oneself. And so in this play, they are not only physically trapped, but they are metaphorically trapped. And the scene that you will be experiencing next week, there was a moment later in the play where the male character discovers something about the woman character that he thinks he may knows. So they at this point, they find out that they may actually have a connection. So there is a rhyme and a reason for them being locked up in the room. So some of the things that I will be looking for in terms of feedback is, do you know who these characters are? And do you know their arc and their journey? And are you able to really see this as a moment where they are being forced to grow and also find a part of themselves? So this is, and also too, is this not necessarily dialogue that you would hear in the day-to-day, but is this dialogue that makes sense to the purpose of why they are there? And then thirdly, the big piece is, so this, my goal is to have this work happen 45 minutes uninterrupted, no intermission. There's something beautiful about experiencing a moment together without breaks. Some of my most powerful theater experiences have been when there has not been an opportunity to leave. And I know some people are like, oh my God, you're going to hold us hostage where we can't go to the restroom. Or this is one of the reasons why I wanted my first full length to be as short as it is, because I really want people to get absorbed and like really feel and be present in the moment rather than being distracted. So also too, the other piece of feedback that I will be looking for throughout the next couple of months or so is this really a piece of work that can sustain 45 minutes, or should it be significantly shorter? Or is there something else to the work that I could be adding? So I am asking those that experience the work, I'm asking for a lot, I think. But I also think this is the beauty of new play development, is it doesn't exist in a vacuum with just the creatives themselves who are involved. This is another reason why I love the format of the Play Incubation Collective, is that we are creating as a community. So it's not just me, the playwright, the egotistical writer, who is just writing to write. I'm like, no, I'm writing for people to experience and learn from the work. And so in order to do that, I need to garner the feedback. So, um, so yeah. So if anyone who is in my community who is interested in learning more about the Play Incubation Collective, they can be found at their website, which is playincubation, all one word, .org. If you are interested in being in the Zoom room with us next week to hear not only my work, but others who are going to be a part of this particular salon, you can join us. It is on Monday, July 19th, 7:30 to 9:30 Eastern Time. The site is below tinyurl.com/July PIC Salon. This event is free, but we do ask that you reserve in advance. And then for people who are part of the Play Incubation community who are not familiar with my work, I am easy to find on the interwebs. I am, in terms of my website, NicoleMYoung.com. There you'll learn more about me and all of the many things that I do. I post a lot on social media, not only just about my work, but just about my comings and goings. I'm also a doctoral student, and I also work full time, which I have no idea how I do all of this at once. So I post about a lot, including some personal things. So follow me on Facebook. I'm at Writer Coco Pen Explore. And then I am on Instagram at Coco_Pen Explore. Pen Explore comes from the fact that I love to write longhand with pen. My first ever play was written in pen on a notebook. So those who have lived with me and know me well, I have like tons of pens and a pencil case. I have notebooks everywhere because I like to write longhand first. And then those who are interested in collaborating with me, I do a series of asynchronous journaling workshops on Patreon. You can find me on Patreon at Coco_Pen Explore. Another way that you can collaborate with me as a writer. So thank you so very much for joining us today. I really hope to see you next Monday in the Zoom room for my excerpt, which I have another draft that I need to get done so we can get to the actor who will be reading for the black male role. I hope everyone have an amazing Sunday. I know people are probably joining us from different parts, hopefully parts of the world. I hope wherever you are, you stay safe and loved, and keep collaborating, keep playing, keep writing. And for those which patrons of the arts, you are huge contributors to the work that we do. So those who are artists, yay. Those who are supporters of the arts, thank you. You're the ones that keep food on our table, and you keep the fuel for our work going. Have a great Sunday, and I'll see you next week.